Mama Ngozi's buka, nestled in the bustling streets of Yaba, was more than just a roadside eatery. It was a legend. Students, workers, and even the occasional tourist lined up daily, drawn by the tantalizing aroma of her soups. Each spoonful seemed to hold an unexplainable magic, a warmth that soothed weary hearts and invigorated tired minds. The buka, with its faded blue walls and clanging pots, was a lifeline for the community, offering not just meals but moments of solace in Lagos chaos. But behind Mama Ngozi's cheerful demeanor and infectious laugh lay a dark secret. Late at night, when the city's noise dulled, she ventured into the shadows with a woven basket in hand. Her destination was a nearby mortuary, where she exchanged a discreet wad of cash for her peculiar ingredient, fresh human hair. To her, it was the key to her buka's success, the secret spice that enchanted her customers. She often whispered to herself, "The hair carries the soul's essence. It feeds the heart, not just the stomach." The buka's fame grew by the day. Mama Ngozi's soups, particularly her egusi and pepper soup, had a flavor that seemed impossible to replicate. Customers often tried guessing her recipe, throwing out wild suggestions like secret spices from the north or rare leaves from the east. Mama Ngozi would chuckle and wave them off, saying, "It's just love and dedication, my people." But in her dimly lit kitchen, the truth simmered with the broth. Each strand of hair was meticulously cleaned, shredded, and blended into the soup. To the untrained eye, it dissolved seamlessly, becoming one with the bubbling pot. Mama Ngozi believed that the hair, infused with the essence of the deceased, amplified the emotions of anyone who consumed her meals. Joy, nostalgia, and contentment. Each bite evoked an emotional tapestry that left her customers addicted. To her, it wasn't evil, it was art. But as the buka's popularity surged, so did the risks of her secret being exposed. Mama Ngozi's buka was bustling as always, and among the staff was Amaka, a sharp-eyed teenager who had recently started working as an apprentice. Amaka admired Mama Ngozi's culinary genius but couldn't help noticing the peculiar rituals her boss performed. Whenever Mama Ngozi prepared the soups, she insisted on being alone, locking the kitchen door and allowing no interruptions. Amaka found it odd but chose to remain silent, attributing it to the eccentricities of a master cook. One evening, after the last customer left, Amaka lingered, pretending to clean the tables. Through a crack in the kitchen door, she saw Mama Ngozi drop a bundle of what looked like hair into the pot. Shocked, Amaka froze, unsure of what she had just witnessed. She decided to investigate further, vowing to uncover the truth. What she didn't realize was that Mama Ngozi had noticed her prying eyes and was already planning her next move. The next morning, Amaka couldn't shake the image of the mysterious hair in the pot. She tried to act normal as customers swarmed in, praising the rich taste of the soups. "Mama Ngozi, your hands are truly blessed," one man said, wiping sweat from his brow. Mama Ngozi, ever charming, laughed heartily and replied, "Ah, it's all thanks to the ancestors' blessings." Amaka watched her closely, wondering what she truly meant. Rumors had begun spreading in the neighborhood about the supernatural allure of Mama Ngozi's cooking. Some customers joked that she might have a special connection with the spirits, while others dismissed it as mere gossip. Amaka's suspicions grew, but she knew she couldn't accuse Mama Ngozi without proof. Torn between loyalty and fear, she resolved to find answers before making a decision that could change her life, and the buka's fate, forever. Amaka's resolve deepened when she overheard Mama Ngozi murmuring to herself late one evening. Hiding behind the buka's worn curtains, Amaka watched as her boss carefully packed a woven basket with what appeared to be money and an empty sack. Curiosity consumed her and she decided to follow Mama Ngozi. Ensuring she kept a safe distance, Amaka trailed her through the dimly lit streets of Yaba, her heart pounding with each step. To her horror, Mama Ngozi stopped at a mortuary on the outskirts of the neighborhood. Amaka watched as her boss exchanged cash with a morgue attendant, who handed over a small package. She couldn't see its contents but knew it was no ordinary transaction. Amaka's stomach churned as the realization began to sink in. This was the source of the mysterious ingredient in the soups. But what could she do with this dangerous knowledge? The next day, Amaka could barely focus as she served customers. Every compliment directed at Mama Ngozi's soups felt like a dagger to her conscience. "You've outdone yourself again, Mama," a woman exclaimed, holding up a steaming bowl of pepper soup. Amaka forced a smile, her mind racing with questions. Should she confront Mama Ngozi? Report her to the authorities? Or simply quit and never look back? Mama Ngozi, on the other hand, seemed unfazed, her cheerful demeanor unchanged. But when their eyes met briefly across the room, Amaka felt a chill. It was as if Mama Ngozi knew she had been followed the previous night. Still, the older woman said nothing, leaving Amaka in a state of dread. She realized she couldn't keep pretending for long. If she wanted to act, she would need solid evidence and a plan. Amaka decided that gathering proof was her only option. That night, she waited until everyone had left and sneaked back into the buka. Armed with her phone's flashlight, she carefully searched the kitchen for clues. The pots were empty, the counters clean, but in the far corner of the room, she spotted a wooden chest she had never seen Mama Ngozi open. She hesitated, her hands trembling as she lifted the lid. Inside, she found neatly tied bundles of human hair, some still damp. A wave of nausea swept over her, but she forced herself to snap pictures with her phone. Just as she closed the chest, she heard footsteps approaching the buka. Panic-stricken, she turned off the flashlight and hid behind a stack of sacks. The door creaked open and Mama Ngozi stepped inside. She moved with purpose, humming a tune as she lit a lantern. Amaka held her breath, her heart pounding so loudly she feared it would give her away. Mama Ngozi approached the chest and inspected its contents, muttering under her breath, "Soon, very soon." As Mama Ngozi began preparing her ingredients for the next day, Amaka remained frozen, too scared to move. After what felt like an eternity, Mama Ngozi left the kitchen and locked the door behind her. Amaka waited a few minutes before sneaking out through the back window. Once outside, she clutched her phone tightly, knowing the pictures she had taken were her lifeline. But she also knew that exposing Mama Ngozi would come at a cost, and she wasn't sure if she was ready to pay it. Amaka spent the night tossing and turning, the weight of her discovery crushing her spirit. She stared at the pictures on her phone, her mind racing with questions. Should she report Mama Ngozi to the authorities? Would anyone believe her? And if they did, what would happen to the buka and its loyal customers? The thought of the bustling eatery turning into a ghost town filled her with dread. Her conscience battled her fears. On one hand, she couldn't allow such a sinister practice to continue. On the other, Mama Ngozi had given her a job when she had nothing. Was it possible to confront her without destroying everything? Amaka decided she needed advice, but from someone she could trust implicitly. The only person who came to mind was her childhood friend Chuka, who always had a way of seeing things clearly. Amaka met Chuka after school at their favorite spot, a small, quiet park near the Yaba bus terminal. She explained everything from her suspicions to her late-night discoveries. Chuka listened intently, his face growing grimmer with each detail. "Amaka, this is serious," he said, leaning closer. "If what you're saying is true, then people are unknowingly eating human hair. That's beyond disturbing." Amaka nodded, her eyes welling up. "But what can I do, Chuka? Mama Ngozi is loved by everyone. And if she finds out I know, who's to say she won't try to silence me?" Chuka thought for a moment before replying, "We need to tread carefully. Let's gather more proof, but this time we'll do it together. If we expose her, we'll need irrefutable evidence, and a way to protect ourselves." His words gave Amaka a flicker of hope, but the road ahead still felt perilous. Chuka and Amaka devised a plan to watch Mama Ngozi closely. Using Chuka's skills with gadgets, they set up a small hidden camera in the kitchen during a night when Mama Ngozi steps out. They intend to catch her in the act of using the mortuary hair. The next day Amaka retrieves the camera. The footage reveals Mama Ngozi cutting bundles of hair, boiling them, and chanting incantations over the bubbling pot. Chuka and Amaka are horrified, but Chuka insists they need clearer evidence, including the exchange at the mortuary. Amaka and Chuka stake out the mortuary, waiting for Mama Ngozi's next visit. They record her interaction with the morgue attendant and take pictures of the transaction. But their activities don't go unnoticed. Someone is watching them. Amaka begins noticing a strange man near the buka and at the park where she meets Chuka. She suspects Mama Ngozi has caught on to their investigation. Chuka reassures her, but their paranoia grows. Mama Ngozi confronts Amaka late one night, her voice calm but her eyes menacing. "What are you hiding, Amaka?" she asks. Amaka denies everything, but she knows the older woman is suspicious. Mama Ngozi starts taking precautions, making it harder for Amaka and Chuka to gather evidence. Meanwhile, business at the buka thrives. Amaka struggles with guilt, watching happy customers unknowingly consume food laced with dark magic. Chuka reaches out to his cousin, Emeka, a law student with connections to investigative journalists. Emeka agrees to help, introducing them to an undercover journalist named Tenny. Together, they expand their investigation, collecting testimonies from the mortuary staff and other insiders. Mama Ngozi's suspicions escalate and she starts targeting Amaka. Strange accidents occur at the buka, and Amaka begins receiving anonymous threats. Chuka insists they go public, but Amaka hesitates, fearing for her life. Tenny publishes an exposé based on their findings. The story spreads quickly, sparking outrage across Lagos. Authorities launch an investigation, but Mama Ngozi denies all allegations, claiming her competitors are trying to ruin her reputation. The once beloved buka sees its customers dwindle. Protesters gather outside, demanding justice. Mama Ngozi grows increasingly desperate and starts using more aggressive magical rituals to protect herself and her business. The investigation intensifies. Authorities uncover links between the mortuary attendants and other businesses using similar practices. Amaka and Chuka's role in exposing the truth becomes known, putting them in even greater danger. Mama Ngozi turns her wrath on Amaka and Chuka, using dark magic to haunt them. Their families begin experiencing unexplainable illnesses and accidents, forcing them to go into hiding. Emeka introduces them to a local herbalist who specializes in breaking dark spells. The herbalist provides them with protective charms and teaches them counter-rituals. Meanwhile, Mama Ngozi's influence begins to wane. In a dramatic raid, authorities storm the buka and uncover the chest of human hair. Mama Ngozi is arrested, but she curses Amaka and Chuka, vowing revenge. Her loyalists attempt to protest her innocence, claiming her practices were misunderstood. With Mama Ngozi behind bars, her buka closes permanently. The community is left shaken, struggling to come to terms with the revelation. Amaka feels a mix of relief and sadness, knowing the woman who gave her a job also harbored such darkness. Amaka and Chuka rebuild their lives, their bond stronger than ever. They begin volunteering in local youth organizations, using their experience to advocate for transparency and ethical business practices. Tenny's article sparks a broader investigation into unethical practices in Lagos' food industry. Amaka and Chuka become local heroes, celebrated for their bravery in exposing the truth, even at great personal cost. Amaka opens her own small eatery, serving simple but delicious meals made with love and integrity. She names it Hope Kitchen as a reminder that good can triumph over evil. Chuka, ever supportive, helps her manage the business. Together they vow to build a legacy of honesty and trust, proving that true success lies in doing what's right.